Imagine finding a coin worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. Yes, you heard that right. In this video, I'm diving into the top 4 ultra-rare UK and Australian coins that could make you a millionaire. These coins have jaw-dropping values, with prices in the hundreds of thousands or even more. Don't miss this. The 1984 £1 coin was part of the UK's move from paper money to coins, and it quickly became a part of daily life. It has a portrait of Queen Elizabeth II on one side and a design of roses, thistles, shamrocks, and leeks representing the 4 nations of the UK. Nothing too unusual, right? But here's where things get interesting. During the minting process, a small number of these coins were made with errors that would change everything. These coins were struck with blurry designs, double strikes, or misaligned text, making them incredibly rare. The flaw wasn't noticed by the people making the coins at the time, so these mistakes slipped through and made their way into circulation. Now, let's talk about why this is important. When collectors started to realize that only a handful of these flawed coins existed, the demand for them went through the roof. Think about it, a coin that was never supposed to exist in that form became a super rare item. Imagine walking around with a coin in your pocket that could be worth as much as $58,000 to $105,000. It sounds like something out of a dream, but it's a reality for the lucky few who have found one. The value of the 1984 Elizabeth-era £1 coin comes down to a few simple things: rarity, condition, and historical significance. First, let's talk about rarity. Out of all the £1 coins minted in 1984, only a small number were struck with errors. Some estimates suggest there are fewer than 50 of these error coins left in the world. That's incredibly rare, especially when you think about how many coins are made every year. The more rare something is, the more valuable it becomes, and these coins are incredibly hard to find. Next, condition is a huge factor. If you find a 1984 £1 coin with an error, you'll want to make sure it's in good shape. The best coins are those that have hardly been touched or worn down over time. A pristine coin with an error could be worth a lot more than one that's been scratched up or damaged. Coins that are uncirculated or in near-perfect condition are often sold for the highest prices, and collectors will pay top dollar for these pristine versions. Another reason this coin is so valuable is its historical significance. When you hold this coin, you're not just holding a piece of currency. You're holding a piece of history. The mistake in minting makes this coin fascinating because it tells a story about how things don't always go as planned. It's a reminder that even the smallest mistakes can lead to something huge. That's why collectors are so passionate about owning one of these rare error coins. If you think you might have one of these error coins in your collection, here's how you can spot it. First, look at the design. The most common error is a double strike, where the coin is struck by the minting dies more than once. This causes the design to appear blurry or overlapped. If you see that the text or the images are repeated or out of place, you could have one of these valuable error coins. Another thing to look out for is misalignment. If the design isn't perfectly centered or the text seems crooked, you might be looking at a coin with a misaligned die. This happens when the coin isn't lined up correctly during the minting process, leading to a shifted design. Finally, check the text. If the words on the coin are faint or blurry, this could be another sign of the error. Now, let's talk about what you should do if you think you found a 1984 Elizabeth-era £1 coin. The first thing you'll want to do is get it graded. Grading is a process where a professional checks the condition of your coin and gives it a score. The better the grade, the more valuable the coin. If your coin is in great shape, it could be worth a lot of money. You can get your coin graded by organizations like the Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, NGC, or the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS. Once it's graded, you'll have a much better idea of its value. If you're thinking about selling your coin, there are a few ways to go about it. Auction houses are a great option because collectors from all over the world will be able to bid on it. Online marketplaces like eBay also have a huge audience, and you can often get a good price for rare coins. Finally, you can sell to a coin dealer who specializes in rare and valuable coins. They may offer to buy it from you directly, and sometimes, they'll offer a competitive price. The 1984 Elizabeth-era £1 coin isn't just a coin, it's a once-in-a-lifetime find. If you've got one of these error coins, you could be looking at a small fortune. The value of these coins has only gone up over time, and the more people know about them, the more in demand they become. So, if you're lucky enough to have one, don't let it slip through your fingers. Let's rewind to 1976. The Royal Australian Mint was making thousands of regular 50-cent coins. These coins, with their famous 12-sided design, have been in circulation for decades. However, some of these coins weren't minted correctly. A mistake occurred, leading to a rare error on some of the coins. The 1976 error coins were struck with an issue: the dies, the metal stamps used to make the coin's design, didn't align properly. This caused the coins to have misprints, making them incredibly valuable. Imagine a coin with not just one design, but two different ones or even blurry, misaligned features. That's what makes these error coins so special. They weren't meant to be like this, but now, they're a huge deal for collectors. So, what makes the 1976 Australia era 50-cent coin worth so much? It's the rarity. There weren't many coins made with this era, and fewer have been preserved in good condition. Most of these coins were circulated, meaning they've been used and worn down, but the ones that have been kept in excellent condition are like hidden treasures. These coins have sold for $58,000, $87,000, and even as high as $110,000. That's no small amount of money, and it's all thanks to that simple minting error. The value of these coins isn't just based on how rare they are. It's also about how well they've been preserved. The condition of a coin is everything in the world of numismatics, the study or collection of coins. If the coin is clean, sharp, and free from damage, it can command top dollar. Coins that have wear, scratches, or discoloration aren't going to fetch nearly as much as a coin that looks fresh off the press. But how do you tell if you've got one of these valuable coins? That's the tricky part. If you look at a regular 50-cent coin, you'll see Queen Elizabeth II's image on one side and the Australian coat of arms on the other. However, if you have an error coin, you might notice some things look off. For example, you might see double designs or blurry images. Sometimes, the date is doubled, or the features are misaligned. These mistakes are key to spotting an error coin. If you find a coin with these types of issues, there's a good chance it's worth way more than face value. But even if you don't spot the mistake right away, there's always the possibility that someone else will. Many collectors and investors are on the lookout for these coins, so don't be surprised if someone offers you a lot of money for your 1976 50-cent piece. The demand for rare coins like these is high, and that means the price can go up quickly.
Did you know a 5-cent coin from 1960 could be worth up to $112,000? Yes, you heard that right. A regular-looking nickel could be hiding in your pocket or coin jar right now, and it could make you rich. Some rare 1960 Jefferson nickels have sold for $71,000, $88,000, and even more than $100,000. Sounds unbelievable, right? But it's true, and I'm going to tell you how. The Jefferson nickel has been around since 1938. In 1960, millions of them were made. The Denver Mint made over 192 million nickels that year. Most of them are normal and only worth 5 cents. But some of them came out with mistakes. And those mistakes are what make the coins rare and super valuable. These mistakes are called mint errors. Sometimes a coin gets struck the wrong way, or on the wrong kind of metal. Other times, the design is stamped twice by accident. That's called a double die. It makes parts of the coin look like they have a shadow or double image. If a nickel from 1960 has one of these errors and is in great condition, collectors will pay thousands or even tens of thousands for it. One of the most valuable errors on a 1960 nickel is when it was struck on a 1-cent planchet. A planchet is the blank piece of metal used to make a coin. A nickel should be silver-colored, made of a mix of copper and nickel. But a penny planchet is smaller and copper-colored. When a nickel is made on a penny blank, it comes out smaller and with a red or brown color. It looks strange, and that's what makes it valuable. One of these rare 1960 nickels sold for $88,000, and another was estimated to be worth $112,000 because of its great condition. Another rare type is the doubled die. This error happens when the coin's design is stamped more than once by mistake. On a doubled die 1960 nickel, you might see the date 1960 looking doubled. You might see the words, "In God We Trust" or "Liberty" with a shadow effect. Even Jefferson's face might look a little blurry or doubled. One of these nickels sold for $71,000 because the doubling was very strong and easy to see. Off-center strikes are also valuable. That's when the design is pushed too far to one side. Sometimes, part of the coin is missing because it wasn't lined up correctly in the machine. If the date and mint mark are still showing, it can still be worth a lot of money. Other rare errors include coins that were clipped or coins with die cracks. These may not be worth $100,000, but they can still sell for hundreds or thousands of dollars.
Now, if you're wondering where you can find one of these error coins, your best bet is to check your spare change, look through old coin collections, or even search online auctions where rare coins are often sold. While finding a 1966 error coin might seem like a long shot, it's not impossible. Many collectors have stumbled upon these rare coins in their regular change, and some have even inherited them without realizing their value. If you're serious about collecting, attending coin shows or visiting reputable dealers is another good way to find these treasures. So, why is the 1966 Australia era 10-cent coin so valuable? It's all about rarity and demand. Only a small number of these error coins were ever made, and most of them were released into circulation, making them hard to find today. The mistake that happened in the minting process created a limited edition of coins that collectors are now desperately trying to get their hands on. This rarity, combined with the growing interest in rare coins, has driven up the price of these coins significantly. As with any rare coin, the value of the 1966 error coin will only increase as time goes on. If you've got one, it could be a great investment, as these coins are expected to keep rising in value. The fascinating part is that no one really knows how many error coins are still out there, making each discovery feel like a potential goldmine. So, what should you do if you think you have a 1966 error coin? First, check the edge to see if it has the milled pattern. Then, inspect the condition carefully, because the better the condition, the higher the price. And if you're unsure, take it to a professional grader who can tell you if you've got something truly rare. The value of these coins ranges from $59,000 to $118,000, so it's definitely worth the effort to get yours checked out. If you've been lucky enough to find one of these error coins, you're holding onto a piece of Australian history, a coin that wasn't supposed to exist but now holds immense value. Whether you decide to keep it in your collection or sell it for a huge profit, the 1966 Australia era 10-cent coin is a rare treasure that could change your life. Let's travel back to 1979. Australia had been using the 5-cent coin for a while, and everything seemed normal. But something went wrong during the minting process that year. A small batch of the 1979 5-cent coins was struck with the wrong dies, leading to a minting error. This mistake caused the design on these coins to appear misaligned, blurry, or even doubled in some cases. Most of these coins were released into circulation without anyone noticing the error, and over time, many of them were spent, lost, or damaged. But now, those few that survived and stayed in good condition are worth a small fortune. So, why is this coin so valuable? It's all about rarity. Only a small number of these misprinted coins were made. Since they were released into circulation, and most of them were used up, there are very few left in good condition. That's why collectors are willing to pay huge amounts of money to get their hands on one. Depending on the coin's condition, you could see it sold for anywhere between $74,000 and $95,000, and in some cases, up to $128,000 at auctions. The more distinctive and clear the error, the higher the value. If you think you might have one of these rare coins, the first thing you need to do is check the design. Normally, the 5-cent coin has a simple design, with the Australian coat of arms on one side and the Queen's portrait on the other. But on the error coins, you'll see that the designs are misaligned, blurry, or sometimes doubled. If you look closely at the date or the lettering, you might notice some distortion. This is the sign that you have an error coin on your hands. The more obvious the error is, the more valuable the coin becomes. The next thing to check is the condition of the coin. Like any rare collectible, the condition is key to its value. If the coin is in good shape, without too much wear or damage, it could be worth a lot more. Coins with clear designs and minimal scratches or fading will be the most valuable. Even coins that show some wear can still fetch a decent amount, but those in near perfect condition are the ones that can sell for the highest prices. If you find a coin that looks like it might be a 1979 era, the best thing to do is get it graded by a professional. Professional coin graders can examine the coin and give it a grade based on its condition. This grade can make a huge difference in how much the coin is worth. High-grade coins with clear errors can go for tens of thousands of dollars, sometimes even more than $100,000. But where can you find these rare coins? It's not easy, but it's possible. You might find one while going through old coins or searching through your change. Many of these error coins were released into circulation, so it's worth checking your own collection or even your spare change jar. If you don't find one, you can also try online auctions like eBay, where many rare coins are sold. Coin dealers, collectors' markets, and even coin shows are good places to look as well. Keep your eyes peeled and ask around. Some of these coins pop up in places you might not expect. If you find a 1979 error coin, make sure to check the edge carefully. Regular 5-cent coins have a smooth edge, while the error coins often have a slightly uneven or unusual edge due to the way they were struck. This is another way to tell if you have a genuine error coin. If the edge feels different, it could be a sign that you've got a rare coin on your hands. The value of the 1979 error coin continues to rise as collectors and investors scramble to find one. These coins are highly sought after because of their unique history and rarity. Every year, fewer of these coins are discovered, making the ones that are found worth more and more. So, the longer you wait, the higher the chances are that the price will keep climbing. If you're lucky enough to find one of these rare coins, you're holding onto a piece of Australian history. The 1979 era 5-cent coin is an unexpected treasure that could make you a lot of money. And if you don't have one yet, don't give up hope. The next time you go through your coins, take a close look. You never know, you could be holding onto a $74,000, $95,000, or even a $128,000 coin. In the world of coin collecting, it's all about finding the rare, unexpected mistakes that turn into valuable collectibles. The 1979 Australia-era 5-cent coin is a perfect example of this. So, don't miss your chance to find one. Keep searching through your coins, and who knows, you might be the next lucky person to discover a coin that could change your life.